I started using resistance bands about 11 years ago, combining them with free weights. And one day I just had this thought like, wow, these things are really effective. I wonder if I could train just with resistance bands. And so I kind of toyed around with that idea, but honestly, just being such a gym rat, I never wanted to leave the gym. And then fast forward just to all the different priorities, things I was juggling, from being a father, being a husband, business owner. I was running myself ragged trying to juggle it all. And I like the idea of this efficiency with this style of training where I could just do it anywhere, anytime that I wanted to. But I also like the effectiveness of it, because the fact was that I'm too into training to train it with a style of training that's ineffective. So it was a combination of the effectiveness, it was the efficiency with it, and it was also this freedom that I had because I lived this fitness lifestyle that was a little bit restrictive. You know, when you do it full out, you eat a certain way and you carry your food with you, and if you travel, the first question you have is, well, where's the gym? Where am I gonna work out? Where am I gonna eat? And so there were a lot of things that I didn't do just because I was so in this groove of this structure, and you have to be structured in order to be successful in fitness. Right. But I was just looking for a little more freedom within that structure. And so one day I just told myself, you know what, this is it. And I said, I'm gonna leave the gym, I'm gonna leave the weights, and that was 2 years ago. So I haven't picked up a weight in 2 years.
Okay.
So, but I know that you were, I wanna go back even further than that. You were in a really nasty car wreck, weren't you? And how did that affect do you still feel the effects of that? And like, can you give us like the rundown of what happened? Because I remember it being really horrible.
Yeah, so it was in Northern California. I was driving a little tiny sports car, crashed into a truck head on. I was doing about 75, he was doing about 75, and it was, so 150 mile an hour impact speed. I was ejected out of the car shattered into a million pieces, literally. You couldn't even recognize it, and so broke just about every bone in my body. And so I went from being in great shape, being about 190 pounds. By the time I came to the hospital, I was in the 130s.
And mentally, how were you feeling? Like, were you down? You must have been, right?
I felt like I didn't know who I was, to be honest with you. I felt like fitness was so much of my identity. To have that stripped away, and you don't know it until it's stripped away. You don't realize how much you depend on it for this sense of who you are. And so yeah, it was honestly, it was tough for me. And so I used to, when I got out of the hospital finally, I was in there a long time, they put me back together with screws and plates and rods and bolts and everything they could. And so when I first started going back into the gym, I went on a walker, and I couldn't even hold on to it because I had casts on both arms, and so they put these attachments on there. And so,
by the way, you look like walking in here, we knew you had a car accident. You can't tell anything by the way that you're moving. It's unbelievable. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay.
Do you still feel it though? Because I want to know the rest of the story. Okay, I want to know the rest of the story.
Yeah, no, I definitely still feel it.
So you had 2 casts in your...
So 2 casts, and I would go into the gym with this walker, and I would go in there and I would like grab the rope and do triceps push downs with my fingertips, because that's all I could grab it with. People are like, what's wrong with you? What are you doing in here? But it's kind of all I knew. It's like I needed it. Yeah. I needed to feel like I had some sort of sense of control in my life, because everything at that point I felt like was not just out of control, I felt like I had nothing.
So you built your body back like this through bands, is basically what you're saying?
Well, they were in combination.
Okay.
So free weights, and then evolved into free weights and band training, and then over the past 2 years exclusively just bands.
What is the name of the bands?
So the company's called Under Sun Fitness, all kind of, if you took Under the Sun, but just kind of crammed it all together, Under Sun. And the idea was that I was just feeling, like I said, it wasn't just being in a gym feeling claustrophobic. I think just with the lifestyle a little bit, feeling a little claustrophobic. And so it was this idea of being literally out under the sun. It was more about freedom and also combining outdoors with fitness. So I grew up backpacking, mountain biking, you name it. I was always outside. And the funny thing about that is if you look at a lot of people that are into outdoor lifestyle, a lot of them aren't hardcore gym rats. There's, you're starting to see more crossover, but that's because fitness is changing. Fitness doesn't look just one way now. Fitness is looking, there's so many different facets to fitness, and I actually enjoy that.
Me too. I mean, that's something we talk about all the time, and it's fitness the way I grew up thinking of it was it's just the gym.
Right.
Now, like, I enjoy doing adventure races. I enjoy doing, taking a hike. Like, there's a lot of ways to stay fit, and it's finding, as Don just said earlier, what you enjoy and what you like. And when you find that, stick with it. And there's no wrong way to stay fit.
So where can someone find your bands, and where can they find and learn more about you?
So they can find them on, so it's e-commerce only, so it's on website under sunfitness.com. They can find them on Amazon. But the big thing is, look, bands are bands. To a degree, most people like the idea of it, they just don't know what to do with them.
Right.
And so that's where just going in there and saying, all right, let me figure this out. Let me train the same way that I used to train in the gym, all the same type of movements, all the things that worked for me in the past. Now how do I translate that into band training? And a lot of it was just experimentation, to be honest. It just took a long time to figure out, okay, how do I do all these different movements?
Just want to make sure everybody knows where can they find you on social. And
so you can find me, I'm terrible at social. Probably biggest platform is YouTube.
Okay.
Put out a lot of content there, so you can just find me under James Grage. I'm on other social platforms, but like I said, I'm kind of like anti-social, so social media for me.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, it was really great to see you again, and if you don't mind, we're going to grab
we're grabbing.
Yeah, cool.
Cool, man.